Two tons of fun. Well, alright. Two tons of fun. Well, alright.
Okay, welcome, everybody. Welcome. I'm everybody's moderator, Mally. Of course, today's topic is colorism. This is we're trying something a little different. We got a couple of guests on with Cree and Jess. DJ Quantis helped co-produce this one, so it's a little bit different. And he insisted that I bring guests because I'm usually opposed to that. So we'll start off with let you introduce yourself again, Cree. She guest host for me before. If you may have watched the episode on breaking news. So reintroduce yourself to the audience, Cree.
Hello, everyone. I am Cree from Conversations with Cree, and I always have a couple of cents to add to every situation.
Okay, introduce yourself, Jess.
Hi, I'm Jess, and I heard about this panel, and I was like, all y'all light-skinned people can't be talking about colorism without a little chocolate in the mix, so I decided to show up.
What's up with you, Quantis and Kaz? Y'all good today?
Well, yeah, we good. Let's do this.
Kaz got something to plug, don't you? You always plugging something.
Oh, I'm always plugging. I'm doing something on Mother's Day, a murder mystery. Got a production meeting later today. Got another play that I promoted on the page. The group, check it out. I'll plug some more things out there. Always busy. The fabulous, wonderful Kaz.
You don't supposed to announce your production meeting.
What? He didn't announce a production meeting. What are you talking about?
Yeah, he says I got a production meeting a little later today.
Oh yeah, things have to be produced. Whatever. Let's get to the icebreaker.
You wouldn't know anything about production.
We'll start with you, Kaz.
I'm the most productive summer gun on here as far as this goes. Let's go.
Let's get to the icebreaker. In a room full of people, have you ever felt different or out of place, Kaz?
Oh, totally.
Why?
Sometimes it's my personality. Sometimes it's my skin color. Sometimes it's my sexual orientation. Sometimes it's because I'm the only fat person in the room. It's a billion reasons why. I pretty much feel out of place wherever I go. I'm a very strong force.
Okay, Jess, same question.
I would think everyone has, but I definitely have been a female, being around a whole bunch of males, being around white people, being around sometimes other females. It just depends on the mood.
Okay, Cree.
Honestly, I don't think I ever have. I think it stems from the diversity of the type of person that I am. Not to say like I'm fake or phony or, some kind of chameleon, but I'm extremely adaptable. I am a mutable sign. So I pretty much fit in just about any scenario. Like I know I'm probably the weirdo in the room, so it doesn't bother me because I'm self-accepting of the fact that I'm a pretty unique individual.
Okay, DJ Quantis?
No, it was wherever I go, I change the atmosphere.
It's that Libra energy.
You don't never feel out of place.
No, I don't follow signs. But yeah, wherever I go, I change the energy.
You change the energy? I don't know. I feel out of place everywhere I go. So I don't know. Nothing works for me. I don't feel like I fit in anywhere. So keeping with you, DJ Quantis, is colorism still prevalent, or is it just a thing of the past? Like, you think we've progressed, or
yeah, it's prevalent.
You don't think we have made any progress, like whatsoever?
I hear some background noise, but yeah,
somebody got noise.
Yeah.
So finish. Now, what were you saying?
No, I don't. Yeah, it's prevalent. It's still prevalent. It's prevalent in culture. It's prevalent in standards of beauty. It's prevalent every part, especially in America.
But I'm just saying, like, okay, like Cree was wearing her natural hair now, and she's trying stuff different and stuff. You don't think we're getting like better at it? Like we're making any inroads, or it's just like the same way it was back then?
It depends.
Natural hair isn't colorism, though.
I know.
It depends what your definition of colorism is. Colorism is a branch on the tree of racism, as far as I'm concerned. Mm-hmm. It's actually a branch on the tree of white supremacy. Mm-hmm. So it in itself, it's not just a It's not the whole cause. It's a symptom of a bigger cause.
Okay. Same question, Jess.
It's definitely prevalent, and I feel like it's prevalent everywhere, not just in America. I feel like it's prevalent in all countries through all people of color, but especially in Black people. So,
How so?
I mean, there's bleaching cream in every country for you to try to lighten yourself. That's telling you that who you are, how you came out, how your skin naturally is not good enough, and you should do something to alter it. So that already affects, standards of beauty and how people feel, self-esteem. It runs deep.
But is it a problem with somebody wanting to? Okay, so if you're using the cream to make yourself lighter, is it a problem if somebody want to get rid of acne? Well, you naturally got acne, right? How is that any different?
Well, that's not what I'm speaking on. I'm speaking on specifically wanting to change your skin tone to be lighter because you think that is better. That's how people are using
Why
it. They're
won't
not.
people accept
Have you ever been
bumpy
to
skin?
Jamaica? Have you ever seen people who you can clearly see are dark skinned people, but their face looks like they finna mime out something? Like they face are white, but their hands is black. It's like, what's going on? Like
I
it don't
seen
even
that
look
picture of
attractive,
Sammy
but
Sosa. Yeah, it was he looked
exactly. And
yeah.
that's what I was saying. Different cultures. That's Dominican. I mean, they're of course they're Black, but they don't really want to claim the Black people that are Dominican, and that's for a lot of Latino um, countries, even Asian countries, just being a little darker. Um, South Asian, Africa. I mean, it's everywhere where people want to lighten their skin because they feel like they're not beautiful as is, and that's a problem.
Okay, Cass.
So the question is
Is it still prevalent? Have we
still
made
prevalent?
any inroads?
I
Has
would
it gotten better?
so I think that we have made some inroads, but I think it's very still prevalent. Colorism, like Quantis was saying, is a part or a branch of white supremacy. White supremacy affects us globally. Colorism affects all people of color globally. To really like think like Jess was talking about, you go in Korea, it's very normal to see lightening products to lighten your skin tone. It's very normal. But in the same tone, um, we have been pushing, it's way too late and way not enough, but we have been pushing, at least in the industry that I work in, to see more dark toned individuals on camera, on the stage, doing commercials. That's a big thing that I've actually noticed recently, is a lot of commercials are showing more people of color, more darker toned individuals than ever before. So do I think it's still extremely
But
prevalent?
to
Yes.
play
But
devil's advocate a little
are
bit
we
with that.
making some inroads?
Hold on. You
Yes.
brought up a real good point. Let's play devil's advocate a little bit with that, because some people have this real strong case, and some white people, they say like affirmative action hurts, and it doesn't always pick the best person that's available. So like, let's say somebody that's of lighter shade may be available for that role, but they're looking for a chocolate person. Like, is that
So
fair?
I actually am
That's not
literally
really
in a
affirmative
very
action being in school for HR, but I'll let you continue.
No. I'm just saying. Like, this
I
is fight. It's a push
I'm
against
in
the
a
university.
casting
Just sue. It's a big case that just happened. Go ahead.
I'm in a casting position right now where one of the other people that I was working with specifically really wanted to cast gay actors for this role specifically. And one of the things that we learned, and one of the things that we're navigating with them on this diversity club, and I only say that because it's the same thing when we're casting Black roles as well, when we specifically want to cast a Black character. um, the thing about it is, the last show that I just directed, I wanted my cast to be diverse, but I also wanted the best actor. So I think it's a line that you have to balance and toe that I don't want to just be picked because I'm the only Black guy that auditioned. I want to be picked because I'm talented. And so it's a very tight rope and line that you have to cross. And so that would depend on the ethics of the casting director and the ethics of the individual making those choices.
Okay, Cree, you can unmute yourself.
This idea that there's not enough dark-skinned people and people of color out there that are talented or deserving of these roles is ludicrous.
Let's piggyback on that a little bit. So do you think, like, okay, they got this affirmative action with white and black. What would you think about affirmative action with shades and tones within the own black community? How does that feel? How would that make you feel? Like, let's get a quota on so many people from this shade or this shade or this shade, or can it? How do
Cree?
Yeah,
Cree get that.
Go ahead, Cree.
I'm not for affirmative action. I'm also not for integration. So my stance on this might be a little bit different. I think it needs to be, as far as progression, I won't say that there's necessarily been huge progression in understanding diversity. There's more exposure, but exposure doesn't necessarily bring an understanding. It just means I see it more. I see more Black people on print. I see more Black people on commercials. And the reality is also, when you see these more Black people, they're usually trying to slap them in somebody with some interracial couple. So it's usually going to be a Black man and a white woman, or a white woman and a Black man. You're going to see kids that look like me in these various mediums to begin with. But the reality is, the only progression is, oh yeah, Black people exist. But what our position in society is, doesn't matter. That's why affirmative action is BS, because usually they're just going to pick somebody that's going to be a token. They're still going to have all these predispositions because there's the issue too. Like you said, then it goes into shades. It's like, what person is going to be less offensive to me? Working in corporate America for over 20 years, I have literally seen candidates that were more qualified passed over because of somebody's implicit bias or prejudice just based on their experience. Oh, that person looks mean because they got resting bitch face. Or that brother intimidates me. Why did he intimidate you? Because he's a dark-skinned Black male? So just seeing things is not going to really change how people embrace other people's cultures. I mean, we even do the same thing within the Black community, where we don't understand the diversity going from, let's say, the West Indies to Africa to anywhere across the diaspora. We only have our Black experience, and we try to push that. So I think diversity is something that is going to take a lot of openness and willing to let go of our biases. Because even colorism, I think the most impactful place that it is in the home. We see that just in our families. We got the auntie that likes the light-skinned nieces and nephews more than the dark-skinned nieces and nephews. And what we have to do is really take a moment to psychologically analyze why we do these things that way. And it does come from, systemic racism. It does come from the conditioning that we've had as people over the length of time, and those things passed down in our family.
Okay. It's Quantis.
I have a follow-up question to Cree. I was interested because you started off saying that you are not a person that's for affirmative action or integration, but then later you talked about diversity and experiencing and learning more about diversity. So if you're for segregated communities, what are you using to segregate the communities? Is it people's race? Is it people's skin tone? Is it people's? What do you mean when you say you're not for?
I think she meant forced integration.
Forced integration is what I was referring to.
Okay. I thought you said you're not for integration. I got you.
But she meant forced integration. She didn't preface it.
Yeah, we're pretty much on the same page with that, Cree. I agree.
I don't think anybody would be for forced integration.
Well, that's what happened.
I know.
Yeah.
I know, but I'm saying today, in today's time.
I also wanted to piggyback on the affirmative action and speak on how affirmative action only really helped white women. It didn't help Black people. It didn't help it didn't help any other race. It helped white women. That's who benefited from affirmative action. So people like to say that things are diverse because they have a white woman, and women make it diverse versus actual people of color making it diverse.
We
So
lost Cree.
I wanted to say that, but yeah, I just wanted to
Okay.
throw that in there about the affirmative action, because y'all was saying it like it's really something that helps us. It really does not help Black people.
Well,
That's
well,
not
like, well,
really
like,
the
I almost
goal.
said a real name. Like Cree said, they're gonna, if they do, it's gonna like pick a token. So it's crazy. It's crazy like that. So that's out.
And that's why I preface what I was saying was that, you know, affirmative action looks great on a piece of paper, but if you don't have the ethics and the morality to back it up, if you're not picking the best candidate, then it doesn't work. And that's kind of what I was saying when it comes to the, just casting and my recent roles in casting characters on trying. We've got this big push because we want to be diverse and equitable, but majority of the theater here is in the Twin Cities is Caucasian, and there is no outreach to the African American actors. I've notoriously been the only Black person in a lot of plays that I've been in, or the only person of color even in a lot of plays that I've been in since I've been here. So there, to me, it's like you say you want this, but then you're not doing the work to outreach and grab and get people to come in and get the talent. Don't just tell me to cast a Black person because they're the only one that tried out. So I just want to clarify my stance on affirmative action there.
Okay,
so.
let's move forward. Does colorism set the tone
Let me just make one quick point on that, affirmative, before you get in there. Affirmative action, I believe the theory of it is something that I still believe in, even though I don't like forced integration. However, when it comes to like government agencies and things of this nature, like awarding contracts, I do believe in affirmative action because I've seen it in the construction industry. And
say affirmative action without corruption, because you know what happens all the time.
I was approached by people to use my business as a front for construction contracts, minority contracts. And so some of that stuff, the theory of it should work. Maybe we have to rework it, because in order to really have stuff correct, you do have to even the playing field. And in the construction business, especially Chicago, it is strategically one-sided, and it hasn't given people of color good contracts. However, it did work for Hispanics, because Hispanics have a lot of concrete contracts in Chicago. Iberis is a Hispanic company, and they work primarily with what's that big company? Walsh, which is an Italian company. So they have benefited
Walsh runs
business
Illinois,
wise.
but let's not get too deep into that.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's not just white women that have benefited from this. So we're
not finna go too deep into
historically, like across the thing. The numbers say that white women benefit the most.
I mean, this may be another show.
Action.
Yeah, that's affirmative action. Maybe we could do a whole thing on affirmative action. But let's move on. Does colorism set the tone for our societal beauty standards? If so, then how? And how do you know in personal experiences or something you read or something like that? We'll start with Jess on this one.
So definitely colorism affects beauty standards. I've been told my whole life, oh, you pretty for a dark-skinned girl. Oh, you cute for a dark-skinned girl. Oh, it's like, like, what do you mean by that? Why can't I just be pretty? Why can't I just be cute? Why do I need to have this for what does that even mean? And nobody can really explain it, because I'm gonna ask you, like, what you mean by that? Or dudes who tell me, you the first dark-skinned girl I ever talked to. Like, am I supposed to be impressed? Am I supposed to give you a cookie? Why are you telling me
give up the cookie? That was
It's definitely not what you're getting, because at that point I'm no longer interested. Like, what does that mean?
The light-skinned superior. That's how they be acting.
I told you was good looking. Let's get to cooking.
Yeah. Go ahead, same question, Quantis.
Yeah, I believe everybody's entitled to their own opinion of beauty. However, it has been kind of pushed down our throats what beauty is, and for the most part, the world has a Eurocentric opinion of beauty. me myself, and I hope we can get to this because I want to squash this rumor that I'm colorist in favor of light-skinned people, even though light-skinned people are starting to take up with sports. But yeah, I believe that there is a bit of a lot of colorism when it comes to beauty, especially amongst our people. It's horrible.
But sometimes you can do what we call a gross overreaction and swing the pendulum way too far the other way when you intentionally avoid talking to light-skinned people and doing things for light-skinned people just to avoid and go out of your way to do things for dark-skinned people. You should try to get to know each individual on their own merits, is what I believe. But let's go on. Same question, Kaz.
Oh, I totally agree. I can relate to what Jess was saying. People love to think the alphabet community, I'll just make for short, is this diverse.
Yep, there it is. I lost the bet. Go ahead.
I have been I dated guys that say you look good for a black guy. I've been told that, you're not light enough. You're not dark enough. You're all these things. I mean, my hair, I started relaxing my hair ages ago. Because I was indoctrinated with it. Now I kind of do just because I'm growing my hair out natural. I haven't put a perm in my hair since the new year. And so I'm growing my hair naturally out, and I've always wanted to try different styles, but I would say a lot of the media, a lot of the advertisements that we see, a lot of what we see in fashion is our European beauty standards. So totally agree with that statement.
Cree, unmute yourself and let's work from there. Same question.
I definitely agree with what everyone said. We have Eurocentric beauty standards. That's just how we have been ingrained from everything that we see on TV to what we see as beautiful.
But can you focus a little more on like your own personal experiences within just the Black community, on like the shaders and colorism, that kind of thing?
I thought we were talking about beauty standards, because I was gonna say the other big thing is just having siblings. Everybody perm their hair, including me. Mm-hmm. To this day, my mother asked me, when you gonna straighten your hair? Like, never. I stopped straightening my hair 25 years ago or so. I took my hair to be a sense of expression and part of my identity and expressing who I am and making it clear. My children all had natural hair, locks at one point or another, or just to where, we trained them to love the curls that they have. Moisturize your hair. You'll be surprised at what the texture comes out. I mean, we see this stuff all the time as far as colorism. Don't touch your baby's hair before 2, or, their hair gonna get nappy. It's all these kind of stupid things that these myths that we're ingrained with that go against accepting the beauty of who we are as a people. All my children are different shades, and I think every shade is beautiful.
Hold on, pause 1 second, quick. It's like that don't cut your hair to 2. Oh my God, because my hair was cut after 2, and my little brother's was cut before 2, and we had different hair textures. He still thinks to this day that is the reason why his hair texture is different.
That is not the reason why you don't cut children's hair before they're 2 is not for hairstyle or for hair texture. It's for hairline. You don't want to cut a young boy.
But I'm just saying, his hairline is up further than mine, so I don't think that's the reason. That'll probably.
We never cut his hairline either. Maybe we should have.
But I'm just saying that's a myth too. Like
that is not a myth.
Continue.
That is not a myth.
I just said like that was real interesting. Like when you brought that up, like that just real hit home. Or we could just move on. Let's move into the rank it. Let's do into the rank it. Rank these hairstyles. Dreadlocks from 1 to 4.
I don't like that you even called them dreadlocks.
I know, that's why I'm like, both of these people, they called me a colorist last episode, and I know better that they just called locks.
Yeah, I guess maybe because I got people from the personalities in my family, but locks is...
I'll accept your cancel culture.
That's not cancel culture.
Locks, braids, curly hair.
I wouldn't change it, man. That's what you put down there. Call it what you put down there. Don't let nobody intimidate you, man.
I'm not finna fight. I'm not trying
don't care about that girl. I'm gonna call it dreadlock.
You trying to fight when you don't have to. You picked the wrong
guy. I've been calling dreadlocks for years. Just call it dreadlocks. Don't back down.
He likes to live in his ignorance.
All right, ignorant. That's what it's called.
We start with you.
Any Rastafarian would tell you that.
I'm not no Rastafarian. I'm kidding about Rastafarian. Tell that nigga to go smoke some weed.
Tell you it is called locks.
Tell them call y'all.
I told
Come
you
in.
it was a
Dread
Alright,
is what white
so-
people
okay.
put on there, as in dreadful.
Ain't who cares?
They do.
That's like these
Yeah.
stupid niggas talking about don't say good morning because you talk about morning. I don't nobody want to hear nothing about that stuff.
Oh, we'll start with
That's
you,
your-
Quantis.
that's your
Since-
Let the man go. Let the man go ahead and rank it. He put it on there. That's it. Respect the producer.
Rank it,
Lord.
rank it,
Gotta
Quantis.
correct every freaking thing.
Rank it,
Can't
Quantis.
say nothing nowadays.
You can still call
Don't
it
say
dreadlocks
nothing
if
about
you
the
want to.
Lord though, because you gonna correct us
Yeah,
on that.
Man, you better
real
shut your
fast.
butt up. Better go on in there. To
Biblical apologies.
you got makeup on right now.
I have no makeup on. I'm just beautiful.
What happened to them dots you had early this morning?
No dots.
How they just mysteriously got covered up?
I got a good camera. And you can still see a dot right there. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
you put some. You ain't put nothing on there.
Calm down. Calm down.
No. I'm calling this out.
I'm
You didn't put nothing over the acne today.
I don't have no acne really. I
It's
just
not
got
that.
rid
It's
of the
not that
acne.
serious.
Man, please.
Let's
Man, baby, bye.
Quantis, we gonna start with you. Rank them. The locks or dreadlocks, whichever one you want to call them. Braids, curly hair, or straight hair. Rank that hair.
See, this is why this is the part of the thing that I actually rebelling against, because I wanted people to rank their own stuff, but he gonna sit up here and try to control the ranking. But anyway, since he did it, I would like to say instead of curly, I would like to say natural. I like natural above that, even
Wait
though
a minute. You just made this whole big deal over calling locks dreadlocks, but now
Whatever.
curly is too far. You want to call curly
we're gonna
natural?
cancel. We're
What
gonna
the-
cancel
what
the
the
curly
heck?
culture.
You can change whatever word you want, whatever
That's
makes
it.
you
That's
want
it.
to do
We're
I
it.
gonna
just find it
cancel
very
We're canceling
hypocritical.
it.
Please.
canceling
I
it.
told y'all
whatever
he's a
word you-
colorist.
Kaz.
I
told y'all he's a
don't
colorist.
care.
Color. Boy, Candace, you better get your brother.
Say the
Boy, I
real, don't say
exposed the
that
color.
name. Don't say that name on. You said the
Cree, you better get
What-
Kaz Lauren. While I expose where the colorism is
I am
actually
not my
coming
family, okay? I am not my family. I am my own being. Name one person in this family that
Your
dresses
own
in drag. Name one person in this family that dresses in drag. Unless you got something to say, I'd keep my mouth shut.
Seen
One
his old
person in
face.
this family that dresses in drag. I had an uncle on my dad's side, lived in Greenwich Village in New York.
He did not dress in drag. Now you just
Yes, he
pulling up
did.
stuff. No, he did not. Now rank it. God dang it. You slow. Wasting time.
No, you don't want to keep butting in on my time, boy. You forget you messing with the alpha dog. I ain't finna let you run that up in
That's
here.
the alpha male shit again. What?
Woo! I take the curly braids, the locks, and then we do the straight last.
Okay. Let's go.
So I gotta help the little pretty lady over here. You know, I want her to know I love her. I ain't got nothing
Let's
against
go
you.
Jess next, then Cree, then Kaz last.
So what are we just ranking them in?
Yeah, in order
what
from
we
the one you
prefer?
put the most to the least. Yeah.
For my own self or on other people?
For you. Or your own self.
For myself, I prefer braids because I hate doing my hair at the braids, my natural hair or curly hair. I've done faux locks, and I guess straight last.
Go ahead, Cree.
See how I control the narrative? She called it natural instead of curly.
Because my hair is natural. It's
know,
natural even now, even though it's straight. So natural doesn't.
I don't care.
Preference on the curls.
Go ahead, Cree.
So this ranking is for myself or what I'm attracted to?
Either one, it doesn't matter. Just state the preference before.
I know what she's attracted to.
Everybody who knows me knows I'm wearing my hair natural, and I'm not gonna sit up and do everything. So like by tomorrow, because I washed it today, it's gonna be a huge afro because the curls are gonna be all pulled out. But it is what it is. Like I said, it's part of me. As far as attracted, I'm definitely going with natural hair. I would be lying if I didn't say a dude with locks is gonna be the first person to catch my eye. But like I said, I want brown men. I'm not dating no light skinned dudes.
Ooh.
You colorist the other way. You reverse colorist. Go ahead, Kaz.
I am.
It's actually about the law of natural selection. Just based on my mentality is I can't be with a light person because if I'm gonna procreate, I want brown babies. So as y'all know, my first husband
you still ended
extremely dark.
Yeah, he was. That's my guy. R.I.P.
That was my dude, though, man.
What?
Candace, you know that.
Stop calling her real name. I told you stop
Cree.
it. Call a name that's on the screen. Go ahead, Kaz.
You the one drawing attention to it.
Keep
For
saying
myself, I like wearing my hair straight, naturally straight. And then curly.
It's naturally, so you just
braids.
merged some words.
My hair is natural.
They
My hair
just
is
said natural was curly, so
No, natural's not curly.
Natural
Natural
hair
means
is
you
not
don't have any
processed hair.
chemicals. Yeah.
I haven't permed my hair since January. I don't perm my hair anymore.
You cut the perm out.
Yes. So straight,
You a mother.
curly, braids, dread, locks. I haven't had locks ever. I've been very curious. It's the only hairstyle on here I haven't had. If I had to pick for like a guy that I like, I'd be really into curly, braids, locks, and straight. My preferences changed.
that's
I'm about to
because
say a dude with braids. That's kind of ghetto.
My preferences changed.
I bet it has.
all right.
Oh,
Quantis insisted
Cree,
that we
help me, Cree. Cree.
Quantis insists that we make
Cree.
it.
The hypocrisy is high up in this.
Quantis
It's not. See, the problem with Quantis has the inability to grow. He is in one place, one level his whole life. He cannot grow and experience things.
You
He
said
views that as
you
cancel
was attracted
cultures.
to men with curly hair.
Yes, I did.
What the
I'm
hell
getting
did you marry?
divorced. I'm getting again. You have the
So now you don't
inability
flip.
to
You don't
change.
flip the script now. You don't went
Yes.
from
I'm
Europe to
entitled
Africa.
to change
Is that
what
what
I'm attracted.
You don't
Wait
went
a
from Europe
minute.
to Africa now. Please let me know.
Senegal, and Nigeria. But listen to me.
Let me know, boy.
What?
I am so according to
You
Quantis,
speaking in
I'm not
tongues?
entitled. I'm not entitled to change my preferences. I'm getting a divorce. Whoop-de-doo. I'm not attracted. I don't want to date the same person I just divorced. So no, I am going a different route. So I'm entitled to that change.
I'm gonna stay
problem
with,
is
I'm gonna stay with black women.
inability
I'm
to
gonna stay
change.
with dark-skinned black women. I don't care. To the
Yeah,
day
but that's
I die.
not, that's like that's
dark
reverse
women.
colorism.
You gonna stay getting divorced because
Fetishizing black
dark-skinned
women.
women ain't gonna put up with your light-skinned ass.
I got 3 of them to do it.
And they all regret it.
Don't matter.
Yep.
It don't matter.
What?
I
So
get
that's
them to
another
the
thing.
altar.
What people's who they think is dark skin versus light skin. People's image of who is dark and who is light.
Okay, when you see, but you gotta realize,
especially between the North and the South.
I am the darkest of Quantis's kids.
And you're not dark at all.
Between me and my little sister, we about the same color.
Man, look at Cree. Okay. You see how light she is?
Cree is my first cousin. So that's why I'm dark skinned.
You're not dark skinned.
Put me next to Cree.
We have people in this family. We have people in this family on my father's side that have literally passed for white.
Yeah.
So when we have someone like your shade or even darker, that's what we call that dark skin in this family.
And that's fine. I don't mind being dark skinned. What I'm saying is because I'm from Tallahassee, Florida, and because when I go home, people will be like, "Oh, you're not dark." Like they would never call me dark skin. Like I wouldn't even fall in the category of dark skin because there are people that are darker than me. They wouldn't call me that. But when I moved up to Illinois, that's what everybody called me.
I'm stuck in shade limbo. When I get around real dark people, they call me light. When I get around real light people, they call me. I'm just shade limbo. Like that's how I feel. I have no color.
What were you saying, Cree?
Not dark enough. You're not light enough.
I'm sitting here with one of my cousins who refers to herself as light skinned, and I'm looking at her going, "Why is your emoji so light skinned? Because you're not light skinned, boo. She's not light skinned."
That's another one of my children.
She light skinned in comparison to me. I'm way darker than Twilight. No.
See, you know what? You know what's weird, Jess? I don't really consider myself light skinned, but they tell me I'm high yellow. I don't feel that I am. But the issue with me is I have people in Cree is my sister, my eldest sister, and I'm what you call a naive idiot sometimes. I grew up very naive. I didn't know that we were half siblings at all. It didn't connect in my brain. My grandmother on my father's side is darker. She's probably one of the darkest people in my family. So I got all these variety of people that I've always seen, and I always just thought that's how it is. So I didn't, as much as Quantis and as much as there was a lot of colorism is a lot of colorism in my family today, I never really heard anyone say light skin, dark skin around me personally. That's my personal experience.
That was you, because the sisters,
I heard
they were colorist.
No, I didn't hear
Thank
from
you, Cree. Thank you, Cree.
I said my personal experience, and I didn't hear from my grandmother and my granddad.
That's what I got selective amnesia.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do. You got selective amnesia.
Again, Quantis, my relationship with people is going to be different than your relationship with people. I am not a monolith.
Are your ears different from my ears? Do you your ears hear something different from your own sister's ears? But your ears strategically hear something different from Cree and me.
Cree will tell you. I called Cree the other day.
This Negro live in a whole alternative universe.
I just want to say this, and I want it to be said. I called Cree the other day, and I said, Cree, I'm very interested in how I was as a child. And Cree responded to me, well, we were really in different circles, and we didn't hang out that much. So her experience is going to be wildly different than my experience. What I was privy to
is always changing my words around a little bit.
Thank you.
Well, correct.
What I didn't say we weren't in the same circles, boo boo. I said I'm significantly older than you, so I wasn't around you.
Well, that's basically what I'm trying to say. Her experience.
And I said you were a crybaby.
Thank you.
Yeah, he always been a crybaby.
He's still a
so
crybaby.
When I grew up,
crying right now.
You also have to understand this about me. As a child, and this is why it pisses me off about Quantis, when I grow and I change my opinion, I was someone that believed.
I don't grow no more, man. You don't grow enough. Please don't grow no more.
I think a lot of the issues within my family and the family history is just how uniquely blended the ancestors are. Of course, I only really know one side of my family, but that's the family I can relate to with you guys. So if we think back to like the Snodgrasses and all them in Tennessee, that is a whole different kind of shade and just feature makeup, because that's a different thing that even that gets mixed in with colorism is what features are supposedly attractive features. Because now you'll have a lot of dark-skinned models, but they're dark-skinned models that have Eurocentric features. And I'm like, what makes her beautiful? The fact that she's colored but looks like you? Because that's all it is she looks like a white woman but with dark skin. So are you really creating diversity with that kind of exposure? But that's another thing. Back to the family. And so then we have the other side of the family that's really dark. But even if we look at grandma alone, she was one of 12 kids. And again, that was the rainbow spectrum, because they were every color, and it's just grandma just happened to be the lightest of them all. But if we looked at Aunt Fanny or Aunt Bill, they were dark, and they blood sisters, same family. But
as far as we know, sometimes people be having other daddies.
But I think there was enough of them to not be other daddies. But even like I said about the
uncovered some things. I have to give
uncovering some stuff.
He's been uncovering.
Like I was saying about the sisters, they were the lightest too. So grandma and Mother Carita, I said, they were the lightest two of all of them, and they grouped themselves together. They didn't really hang out with the other. Aunt Billy and Aunt Fanny hung out together, but it was like they clustered themselves by shades. And grandma and Aunt Sis were very color conscious. I don't think grandma necessarily treated the grandchildren any differently, but there definitely was a perception of who were the pretty ones.
Mm. This is true. And you rebelled against it. Why would you rebel against being?
I don't know if I rebelled against it or I just tolerated it.
You could have.
What I mean when I say I didn't hear, what was brought up to me when I saw how diverse my family was, or all the different shades there were, I asked a lot, and I'm to this day very interested in genealogy and ancestry. I asked a lot about where I come from and what makes me because I looked at my other Black friends and I noticed their families didn't look anything like mine. And so a response that I always got to what was that I was mixed, or that we were mutts. And that was a response that I get. And I get a lot of slack for that when I say it now, that I'm mixed. I also identify as a Black person, but I get a lot of slack for saying that I was
say you
a multiracial.
Yeah, come on.
Multiracial person. That's what I would, and that was their their covert form of colorism. It was hidden in a lot of their things. It wasn't so much, you better find you a light-skinned person, or, oh, don't hang around that dark-skinned person. For me, my personal experience. And so I will say, growing up later, learning about all these other people in my family that were alive when I was younger and not having access to them did make me upset and question how my family was set up, because I learned about a whole different side of my family. And yes, they were much darker than, well, not, I won't say much, but they were darker than me. So I can see what Cree is saying when she's saying they had these little pods. And I think until this day, even though, like, I think and sis, she had a dark husband. So it at least that's what the picture looked like. But so I get it. But for me, I'm learning my
Picture was black and white.
He was dark.
She got a
it was
he was dark like my color dark.
In the family, that side, so both her children were dark, as far as y'all want to go on that spectrum. But it wasn't so much. It wasn't so much the colorism thing, Cree. It was class. Like it had began to get professionals versus these type of people. In other words, like uppity Negroes.
But that go back to slavery, house niggas, field niggas.
Right. But that still get into colorism deals a lot with class. Usually the people in the upper and the higher class are gonna be the lighter shades.
No, because I wanna since it was Malachi, let me get the floor. Since it was put out there that I was around all of the sisters. So I'm kind of the bridge between the generations, and there was not a clan here and a clan there. It was mixed. The thing was, it was the attitude that this tribe of the family was better than this one, and that's how it began to be. And what even the playing field was, it didn't matter if you were dark as long as you had education. So it began to be a class thing in the family. It's basically just uppity, bougie, and that was the thing that started to develop in our family more so than. But even though the colorism was still there in a covert way, it was still about class and stature.
I can definitely see that. I think some of that's in there. I wouldn't even be surprised if some of that classism came from trying to prove that you ain't better than me.
Exactly.
Because you light skinned. But yeah, that's definitely there as far as that. As far as the passing thing,
that's my dad's side.
Passed. I don't think I could have never passed. And even like the people in our family that passed. I
seen a picture of you with your hair straightened. You could have.
When you were born,
from my perspective.
Yeah, when you were born, you look like
that's fine.
I forget the girl, Shirley Temple.
Shirley Temple.
Yep.
They used to call me Heidi Boo.
I've seen pictures of Korea has always to me been Black, because that's just how I viewed it in my lenses. Because I did grow up very ignorant to this point where I would just say I was colorblind, and then later in life learned that was a horrible thing, that you shouldn't say that. But that's how kind of warped my eyes are, is that I saw so much variety of color. I just assumed we were all on the same team. Wasn't thinking, like, I don't like hearing team light skin, team dark skin. We are all the same people. We all come from the same place. We should all be on the same team. And that's where my mindset has always been. What I find interesting again about Mr. DJ Quantis is that you can say that these people, you were around them when they said all this, but then they changed. So you want to cancel them because of what you heard back when you were young, but when they changed, that gets invalidated. No, so I just think you need to make up your mind on this cancel culture.
No,
I want to say something to come out of just y'all family. No offense, but just to speak on my family. So my father is on the lighter end. My mom is dark skinned. And she always got the pretty for a dark skinned girl, but because she had long hair, it would kind of be like, oh, okay, you're okay. You can still hang with us because you still got some aesthetics that are Europeans, you know. But when my mom married my stepfather, people in the family was like, you know, you're not gonna have no babies with no pretty hair now. You know, you're gonna have babies with nappy hair now. She was terrified to bring him home to my great grandmother, who was
I love her stepfather. He's one of the nicest guys you ever meet.
and he's from the islands. He's from the Virgin Islands. Um, but she's you know, got, we'll say, multiracial as well. So she's a little light bright, and she was terrified to bring him home, even though he was, you know, highly educated. He was willing to accept me as his stepchild. He was an engineer. He was working at Motorola. He had a, you know, everything going for himself. He was just dark skinned. That was the only reason she was afraid to bring him home, just off of that, because of how the family looked at that and how you gonna mess up the bloodline and how we gonna have all these nappy headed children running around here if you bring all these dark skinned men or these dark skinned women into the family. So it runs deep, and you start, I feel like different people, because my grandmother had 10 kids, or my great grandmother had 10 kids, which is my mom's parents and aunties and uncles. I feel like everybody kind of either went about it a different way, either afraid and got somebody super light, or rebelled and got somebody super dark. But I feel like sometimes people did it out of spite, just to, you know, just to be with somebody super dark and didn't even necessarily like them because it ended in horrible divorces, but just to prove, like, I'm gonna bring this dark skinned man to Thanksgiving and you gonna watch him and you gonna look at him. But it was just out of spite. But
yeah.
I don't even know if that makes sense to anybody, but yeah, it's just, I feel like it runs deep, and it makes people have preferences off of not even what they actually like, just to do it. I don't know if y'all ever seen the movie School Days with Spike Lee with the jigaboos, and it's a scene where the one that's with Lawrence Fishburne, and she like, I don't even know if you really like with me because I'm the darkest girl on campus, or you really like me. It was like, is you just trying to prove something that you can be with somebody dark, or is this what you really like? If you,
That's exactly what he was doing.
Exactly. So, and I feel like it just runs deep, and you have different spectrums of how people attack it. If they gonna just, you know, go with the flow and continue it, or if they gonna try to break it in their own way.
I would like to speak on that for a minute, because when I first started dating as a teenager, I dated like across the spectrum. And the reason why I ended up, I believe, dating dark skinned girls was because they seemed to have, the ones that I ran into seemed to be not as stuck up and more open minded. And so I wasn't judging them off of the skin color. The character just started to end up different. And so, because a lot of light skinned people, when I was growing up, thought they stuff didn't stink. You know, and
I think that got passed down, because light skinned girls now struggle with people thinking that they think they better than somebody, and they like, I ain't even say nothing. I was just sitting there. Like, I have friends that are the nicest, sweetest ever, but they just light skinned, and men already she stuck her.
I ain't gonna even lie. I was kind of
like,
I ain't gonna even lie. I was kind of reverse colorist, like my father, like Quantis. I was like real mean to lighter skinned girls and stuff like that, and then like I actually got cool with a lot of them, and then I ended up messing with girls from other cultures and stuff. So it's just other ethnicities, other backgrounds. I try my best. I am biased, and I do try to lean towards more the darker complexion. So I'm still bad in that sense, but like I do give lighter women a chance now.
I personally am attracted
for no reason, like to lighter women, and they seem to keep trying. I don't understand it.
I'm personally attracted to dark skinned men, but they do not go for me. The light skinned men love me, and they always coming at me, but dark skinned men, they look right past me.
Well, your
like,
definition
no.
of light skin different. I'm dark skinned, so in my book.
I'm talking about light, bright, almost white.
Black as in my computer.
No, I'm saying I like chocolate and like a Lance Gross, Morris Chestnut in that vein. Those are my type. But the ones that come at me is the Michael Ealy's and the Jesse Williams.
Why you didn't mention Wesley Snipes?
Because he ain't my type.
Because he don't got European beat.
I mean, what Morris Chestnut doesn't have European.
I'm just
features.
messing with you.
Wesley ain't my. I feel like Wesley is a different generation.
I'm gonna say the hour already.
What about the dude that played on this new British sensation that they going crazy on?
Idris.
No,
No, the one from Bridgerton.
Yeah,
Oh,
Bridgerton. How about that guy? Would you holler at him?
He's not somebody that I looked at, or I never watched the show either. So
y'all keep talking about these men. Kaz getting hot over there.
What you think, Cree? What do you think about him? Is he a nice looking guy?
He probably is nice looking.
Honestly, I haven't really seen a good picture of him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
because I never watched the show either. I just heard all the talk about him, so now I don't even want to look.
I tried watching it.
You know what?
But I thought you was talking about Snowfall. Nah, he fine.
For me, I've never really been one of those people that if everybody likes you, I kind of don't want to like you. I'm not one of those types of people. Like if there's like too much, I'll wait until things simmer down and then I'll check it out. But like I'm not a bandwagon type of person.
You don't want to rush to it.
And for me, I got a lot of slack because I married a European man in my family.
A little European man.
No, you didn't only marry the European. You married the most European. Like that store in Chicago, Treasure Island. The most European store.
Even though we are.
He looked like he could have been with Hitler.
Ooh, no, he couldn't. Ooh, stop it.
Too far.
Stop it. Because he has blue eyes and dirty blonde hair. But I fell in love with my husband. I still love him to this day, even though the marriage didn't work out.
That's the same description of a Nazi.
The funny thing is, and then I brought the Russian home for Thanksgiving one year. But the funny thing is, I've dated a lot of different type of guys, and I showed Quantis the other day the one, because I was telling Jess on the show that I don't really date a lot of black gay men because black gay men got too many issues. You
said American black gay men.
Exactly. So I showed Quantis this picture, and I've dated a lot of different types of people, but I hate the fact that now that I'm changing my preference or changing what I want to date because I don't want to be reminded of the heartbreak of my marriage, that I'm a hypocrite. No, I'm changing.
So you're coloristly going to a dark man, so you're the total opposite of the Nazi you were with.
I'm dating someone that doesn't look like my spouse. I could find a white man that don't look like my spouse to be comfortable with him, but I'm learning that my attraction, what gets me off, is changing. And if you're going to sit here and tell me that I can't change what turns me on and turns me off, and that I can't grow as a person, I think that's really foolish.
You can change all you want, just identify the reasons why you change. I think that's the whole thing. Like we talked about changes in the family over time and how you were raised mixed race. Yes, that was a term. But if you talk to mom today, you would think she was a damn Black Panther. But that wasn't who raised me either. So
yeah, Black Lives Matter.
I looked at this.
Hey, Cree, I looked at that census that she filled out. I don't know, man.
She went a little crazy with that census.
She's just trying to get all the free money she can get. She's gonna be Native American, Island, Pacifica, anything that's gonna get her some reparations. She's checking the box.
Look, we was from Egypt on the census.
I said I did our profile. I said I did our DNA ancestry profile. I could tell you what you're mixed with, but don't be putting stuff you're not mixed with on there. I gotta correct that. No, but I identify as Black, and for me, my journey in color and colorism has been. for me, my journey in color and colorism has been accepting my personal biases, has been accepting my privilege in certain arenas, in certain standpoints, and in certain areas that other people do not have based off of the skin of their color, and trying to grow and change from that. I have these biases. Do I have some colorism? Yes.
I thought
need to
you
get rid of
dyslexic
it.
like
I
me.
need
You
to
said the
grow.
skin of their color instead of color of their skin.
You know what he meant.
Okay.
He got dyslexic speech.
It's all good. I thought I was bad. We're approaching the hour, so I'm gonna skip a lot of this stuff. Let's get into this other segment. This or that or this. Which gender faces more adversity concerning colorism? Is it men of color or women of color? Like,
Ooh.
Who goes through the most? Like,
I think women do.
All right, we'll start with you since you're talking. Go ahead.
I do. I think women do. One of the things I used to watch a lot was Miss America, and then Miss USA and Miss Black USA, I think it was. And finally, when Miss America became black, I think it was Vanessa Williams, they stripped her of the title, and then they let Suzette Charles take over, which was another black woman. And I just feel like black women, when they do become a standard of beauty, they're always scrutinized, checked, and this same thing with Michelle Obama. And so, yeah, I think it's harder.
I think it's harder on women of color than women of men.
Yeah.
With respect to colorism. All right, we'll go to the next, Jess.
I feel the total opposite way.
All right.
In the beauty department.
Cree, you made me call your name too. Pause, Cree. We make you go last. We're gonna go Jess, then Kaz, then you.
It's funny you brought up Miss America, because the first time I saw somebody that was dark skinned and pretty who reminded me of myself on TV was Kenya Moore when she won Miss America. So that was like the person that I was like, oh my gosh, she's pretty, she's dark skinned, and other people think she's pretty. But I feel like it's women. I feel like the colorism when it comes to men is more sexualized. I don't know. But I feel like for women is very, like, I feel like men are so comfortable with saying it. Maybe men are, I can't really speak from a man's perspective because I ain't a man, but I just feel like how men come at me for my complexion is just so natural and so easy, as if it's just okay to say the things that they say. So I feel like women.
Okay, Kaz.
I'd say the same thing. I think it is women. It's just again from the actor's point of view, when I bring up some of the wonderful people and wonderful women that have really influenced me, Nina Simone, Viola Davis, Naomi Campbell, they get trash talked so bad. Everything that they've done gets trash talked. They're not considered. Nina Simone is a great example of that. It's someone that was an amazing pianist, an amazing talent, and got missed out on a lot of her just desserts. And not to say that it didn't happen to light-skinned women too, but I think it had a lot to do with the melanin, the color of her skin.
All right. You might have a point in the field of the arts, but niggas get killed by the police because of the color of their skin. So we'll go with you next, Cree. Go ahead.
That's true.
And that was it. I was going to actually
spectrum.
say, if women have a hard time with beauty standards, with fitting in certain arenas. However, to me, it's way harder out here for a black man to fit into anything or be considered in anything because he has been demonized. He is looked at as a predator, and that goes from every shade. Yeah, a light-skinned guy may still get a little bit of a pass here and there because he's light and he's not as much of a threat. But as you start darker in that shade, it's going to be a whole issue. They are automatically looked at and demonized as a black man. Women get opportunities that black men don't get. That's why we can actually make more money than black men. That's why we can get jobs before black men. That's where screening for rental properties, we get it before men. Black men have it way harder out here than black women. I think black women are more sexualized than black men are sexualized because we get these opportunities because we're an exotic experience. It's very few white women of power that are going to say, I want this sexual experience with this black man. They
They
don't.
want that
For one,
BBC.
women don't have the same amount of power, and women are not going to give black men the stance that maybe a white man may give a black woman.
But Cree, I feel like that's black men in general. I don't feel like that's colorism. I feel like black men, if they put black on anything,
It's all tied
light,
to it.
dark, huh?
It's all come to a head. It's all tied to the white supremacy.
I mean, yeah, it's all types of white supremacy, but I'm speaking colorism. Like I feel like if he light skinned, the cops will kill him. If he dark skinned, brown skin, I feel like they gonna kill him regardless, just for being black. Like the little boy that was in Ohio.
I agree with
I
that.
feel like they
guarantee you
killed
the
them regardless.
darker one's gonna get shot faster.
I agree.
Faster, but I feel like the faster
What's
is a
George
second,
Floyd complexion? All right, let's look at all the most recent ones.
distance.
Let's look at the most recent deaths from the black men killed by police. They all is darker than me.
No, not
the
boy that got shot with the. I thought I had a taser one.
Yeah,
he wasn't.
He was half white. So
Dante, right?
Dante, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he's lighter than me.
It's
but what I was gonna say, I agree with Cree because in my own neighborhood, I have a cousin nephew that I would consider dark skinned, but maybe Jess wouldn't.
The hell's a cousin?
I was wondering that.
He a little bit lighter than me. My nephew.
My cousin nephew. And it could be because of the car he was driving, but he got more dang on pullovers than I've ever gotten living in this neighborhood. And I think that some of my experiences, I've had really awful experiences with the police. I think if I was a shade or tad bit darker, I wouldn't be here. So I can see what Cree is saying on that standpoint. I think my only justification for women going and suffering more is that I think black women, or especially dark black women, are at the very bottom of the social hierarchy when it comes to the social hierarchy in society. So I think the logical sense to me was a woman of color, but I can see Cree's point, and I agree with it.
All right, Cree, we're gonna give you a chance to rebut. She's the only one to take a different position from y'all. Cree, unmute yourself and rebut. Did you hear what he said? You didn't hear it?
I don't have a rebuttal.
Oh, you good? All right, we can wrap this thing up then. All right, we'll start with you, Cree, since you are unmuted. Can we fix this issue of colorism? If so, how do we address this problem? And then we'll rotate around.
I think one of the main ways that we address this issue is by being honest with it and with ourselves and with any interactions we have. So when we're experiencing things and we hear some of the crazy things that we hear, just addressing it in that moment. You know, having conversations. We talk about there being more exposure that will lead to more diversity, but it takes conversations to, you know, really address some of these things. Because I think some people don't even realize that they have these coloristic perspectives to begin with. They just think it's the way they were raised or the way they came up. And it's like, okay, but question why that is and why that came about. So I think one of the best ways that we can address it is by having more conversations about it, being aware of it, talk to kids, talk to people that you come in contact with. That open dialogue is the only way anything is going to change.
All right, Kaz, then Jess, then Quantis.
I think I agree with Cree that there are some things that you can do to mitigate it, but I think it's going to be a long time before, you know, colorism is gone. I mean, you've got racism, white supremacy, and they're all tied hand in hand. And until people's hearts actually change and we actually respect people for who they are and not what they look like, I don't see a big forthcoming in change. It's refreshing to see such a progressive movement here, but at the same time, as I'm seeing these things, and the boomers are dying now, and some of these old ideals are dying out, you're seeing a resurgence of some of these same ideas going right back into young minds who are going to be the ones that are leading the country. So it's a one step forward, two steps back kind of game, I think.
Right, Jess.
So I think that colorism is a branch on the white supremacy tree, and until that's all tore down, it's always going to be around. I feel like it helps to speak about it and to be honest and speak to different people about it. And, you know, everybody have their opinions, whether it's looked at as wrong or right. Everybody gets to say what they get to say, so you can come to some type of resolution. But I don't think it's ever going to go away in my lifetime. But I hope that it gets better.
Quantis?
Yeah, I agree that it is a branch on the white supremacy tree. However, I believe that because this is mainly an issue amongst, because when you look at the definition of colorism, it comes from the people that are being affected by it. So we don't really need white people to help us with this problem. This is a problem. If we cut that branch off the tree, I think we can deal with it. Because if we keep attached to the tree, we're going to keep getting fed from white supremacy. However, like I said, if we cut it off and we have self-love, educate ourselves on different standards of beauty, give people alternative standards of beauty, I think that we can pretty much kill this at least amongst ourselves. We don't have to have white people validate us. And I think once we understand that we don't need your validation and that we can love ourselves, because other communities do it. Other ethnicities do it. Chinatown, they're proud of their area. Little Mexico, they're proud of who they are. And I think we can achieve that in our lifetime, but we cannot think that those that are on the white supremacy tree have to validate us. We can do it, but we have to have self-love.
All right. Any final thoughts from anybody? Otherwise, we can wrap it up and get it over with. Anybody got some more words they want to add? We'll start with Kaz, then Cree, then Jess.
They want me to say something else. I don't really have anything to offer.
You're good. Thank you,
It's
Kaz.
kicking in. The man's kicking in, ain't they? Yeah, baby.
Jess,
okay, you know what? Just because you got something to say. First off, in Asian communities, if you're dark and you're Asian, you're colorized against. In Afro-Latina communities, you got a little bit of African in you. It's all European standards. So colorism is not just something that affects Black Americans. It affects Asians. It affects Indians. It affects the Latinx community. It affects so many variety of communities. So
yeah, that's a fact. It's not. Colorism is throughout
go
it's global.
Jess, go Jess, then Cree, then Quantis, and we can end it.
Yeah, colorism is definitely global. But for us, I feel like it runs deeper than just classism, as it does for most of the other places. I feel like it's more classism in Asia or India, not so much Latinx, because that's just another part of the diaspora. The slave ship just went to Cuba and all of them other places. They just as Black as you. They just not American, but that's another thing.
Yeah, that's another thing.
Go ahead, unmute yourself, Cree, and give your final thoughts.
My final thought is, if you light, give us someone dark. If you dark, give us someone light. Let's make the world brown and keep it moving.
What am I supposed to do? I can't make no babies.
It don't matter for you.
That's why I just do whatever. I'm the United Nations over
That was
here.
your choice.
Hey, Kaz.
That was not a choice. I resent that
We're
statement.
not. That's another episode.
That's another
We're not
episode.
even finna go into that. We're not even finna go into that.
I'll show you how to do it.
Final statement, Quantis.
Well, first of all, this is for Kaz.
No, do not show
Smoke weed every day.
Leave him alone. Him. Leave him alone. What? Go ahead.
Smoke weed every day.
How they make him a negative thing? How they make the
I didn't make
he him negative? How they do that?
Go. So
I don't know, because I don't know. I guess we do.
We're 12 minutes over ended.
I guess we do need that he him, because I don't know what you are unless you have it on there. So that is necessary.
This is not a dialogue between you and Cass. Finish it. Final thoughts.
Him, them, it.
I'm just gonna cut it off. I don't care.
Just cut it off, man.
Thanks, everybody. Remember to
Nice to meet you,
follow, and
Cree.
share.